Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Mackenzie.
And I'm Jonathan.
We are husband and wife, and we'd like to welcome you to TerreDice.
And we have completed 2024. Congratulations, people.
It is 2025.
So we played 192 different games in the past year. Now, 55 of those were published in 2024. So we're devoting this video to talking about the best, I think, 14, 15, 16 games that we loved most out of all the games that were published in 2024 that we played. So yeah.
Yeah, we didn't want to put a top 10 on it because there were some that were like too good to just put a cap on it at top 10. Now you might notice this is not our normal location because we are at Grandma's house because I'm no longer pregnant. If you follow us on Instagram.
Ta-da, congratulations.
Thank you. We had our beautiful baby girl right before Christmas, and so we're here to get some help. But in our temporary set, we are still coming with you.
The work doesn't sleep.
The work doesn't sleep to rest. And neither do we.
Neither do we.
With a new baby. So might as well film a video. So here are our top picks and top published games from the year 2024.
All right, so first up on our list, we have Wyrmspan. Now, I love when a game just surprises us, and this is one of those games. So if you played Wingspan, this is in the Wingspan universe, and that it's a Wingspan game, but it has a whole lot of new mechanics and tweaks. It has some things that they were streamlined and some things that were made totally different. So you've got this crazy guild track where you're trying to really time the game well. You also have a variable number of turns, so you spend coins to do turns, and some of them cost multiple coins, and some of them get you coins back. And you also have diminishing returns on doing the same action over and over again. So you're not gonna get that one person who gets that one little lucky water level, that they get going. So it just had all these really fun things, and honestly, we're not big Dungeon Dragon theme type people, but the theme really kind of seeps through in a really fun, charming way.
Next is Unmatched Slings and Arrows. So Unmatched in general is about where you take, it's by Restoration Games, and there are these different characters that you would never think of, and they're battling it out together. And Slings and Arrows was actually my favorite Unmatched set that they've come out with. It is all the a bunch of Shakespeare characters, including Shakespeare himself. So you can battle as Shakespeare against his other characters that he has created, like the sisters, the witch sisters and stuff like that, or you can take him and battle any of the other ones that they've created for this universe. I just think, especially Shakespeare, it's been done in such a creative way. The way you battle with Shakespeare is actually through his iambic pentameter. You have to create those with his cards to
with
deal
the names
the highest
of the cards
blow.
based on the syllables.
Yeah, and I just thought it was super creative, and that is now always my go-to when I get to pick my character for an Unmatched.
Yeah, I'm just constantly amazed. At this point, we have every Unmatched set except for Buffy, and I think I'm okay with that. Don't need to collect them all, but they're just such amazing fun sets, but this one was a standout for sure. Next up on our list is Star Wars Unlimited. So this is a trading card game similar to Lorcana or Magic the Gathering or other games. We got into Lorcana over the past couple of years, and I am really into Star Wars Unlimited as a big Star Wars fan. It has been a ton of fun. It's got really fun mechanics. I really love the back and forth in the game. And also just the card collection in this game is super fun. There's these hyperspace cards and these foil cards. Then you get a hyperspace foil and you're really excited. So I don't know. I just have found all aspects of it really fun.
Up next is Seaside. Now we also included Seaside in our top 2-player games for this year's video.
Yeah.
And it is this durable game that you can take with you literally anywhere to the beach. It is a very simple rule set where you are playing tokens, and different tokens have different effects as you bring things out to the sea and things get washed away. But the best thing about this game is it has the absolutely best scoring I've ever seen. If you've seen us talk about this before, it's my favorite scoring. All you do is stack it up at the end with the tokens that you've collected, and the person with the tallest stack is the winner. That is an awesome game. And we've had several people, after playing with us, they have bought the game, and then they keep telling us, I play that Seaside game all the time.
Yeah. Next up is the Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth. Now this is a Seven Wonders Duel game that was released with a Lord of the Rings sort of skin or retheme. However, it's like totally redone the mechanics too. So you have the ring wraiths are chasing the hobbits towards Mount Doom as like one track that's going on. You have your like standard win by alliance with all the races, and then you have the sort of map of Middle Earth where you're trying to gain full dominion over the land. And so it's like an area control type game there with a little bit of combat, kind of wild. But it was a really cool retheme with Vincent Dutrait art with really nice sort of downsizing of the like main mechanics and streamlining of the game to make it, honestly, I think, easier in some ways so you could focus on those fun wacky bits.
Next is Horrified World of Monsters. So the Horrified franchise has come out with, this was number 4 for the amount that have come out of the different versions. And World of Monsters is, we are still in this town, but it's like this town of monsters. Like we all have something a little wacky going on with us, like the people who are playing.
Kind of
and
steampunk-esque, a little bit weird.
Yeah. And other like, it's like if Halloween Town was attacked by other like monsters.
By the bad ones.
By the bad monsters. So Halloween Town won. Anyway, so the monsters have come in and you have to defeat them and stop the citizens that are running around town, get them there safely. But what this has lots of really neat monsters. I think probably the coolest and standout from this one was the Cthulhu, because it has this thing where after you beat him, you go into the portal to actually go down to the underworld to beat him there. So this is the first time they've really taken things off the map to go into a different location to do that boss battle. And the puzzles seem fresh in this one, and we aren't a big fan of Greek monsters, so to see this one come out afterwards, we were both pleasantly surprised with to see that Horrified is still going strong. So
it's a ton of fun. Cthulhu definitely was the standout, but I liked all the other ones. Jiangxi had a fun puzzle. I also, it feels very like Bioshock, if you know what I mean, like your characters. So I think that's been a lot of fun
and
too.
I would say honorable mention in this list is Horrified Krampus, came out at the end of December. We did a review on that, so go check that out. That can be played with World of Monsters or Greek monsters, so that's why we didn't include it in this list, but also a great one.
Next up on our list is my favorite game of the past year, which is Harmonies.
I love it.
So Harmonies is just a fantastic, like a sort of like puzzle tile placement game that has similar drafting-ish to Azul, where you got these little plates and you get all the tiles that are on those plates. And then you're going to place them onto your board, and you're going to make ever-changing shapes where you're going to be able to put animals onto habitats. So once I put something on that tree, then I can reuse that tree for this mountain, and you can kind of keep reusing your pieces so you start to grow out, and man, does it look nice at the end. This is probably one of my favorite abstract puzzle type games in general. And this was the game that we played the most out of all the new games that we played this year.
Yes, and it is gorgeous. Like, we're getting ready to move. We're moving to a new place in 2025. And I love this art so much. I like want to hang some of the pieces somehow because it is just gorgeous. So if you haven't played Harmonies, this is in no particular order, I would probably recommend Harmonies out of everything on this list. Harmonies is going to be the one
keep watching.
look at. But keep watching because we're not done. And keep watching because next we're talking about a crowd favorite from this channel, and that is Disney Villainous, Sugar and Spite, where we are going to be having Shere Khan from The Jungle Book and King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph. Now, if you aren't familiar with Villainous, it is definitely something you should check out. If you love Villainous, love Disney, because you battle as the villains and you try and beat the heroes. So in this one is King Candy and Shere Khan. It is you can play them against each other, or you can play them against any of the villains that exist. I think our favorite out of this for the new mechanic would definitely be King Candy. Has this really neat race mode that when you get to the end, you are going to actually race Vanellope.
Yeah, you have like a figure eight track that
and you have to race her to the end of it. So I would think that was a standout for that one in particular. And overall, it was just a really nice, solid set to be added to the Villainous lineup.
Yeah, and speaking of Villainous being on fire, we also had Star Wars Villainous, Revenge at Last, which brought Darth Maul and Captain Phasma. And these two absolutely spectacular villains. Their puzzles were great. I love the pauldrons that you gotta like promote your stormtroopers for Captain Phasma. Darth Maul was a ton of fun too, and we've been like waiting to see him on a box cover, right? Such an iconic villain.
Everyone's been waiting.
But we loved that set, and that was probably one of our favorite Star Wars sets. So Honestly, at this point, it's really hard. Like, I would play any of the three, Marvel, Star Wars, Disney. They all have really fun characters.
Yes, this Star Wars one in particularly was,
Yeah.
it made it, I think, up the game a lot for it. And so it was actually a lot more complicated. So if you're a gamer, Darth Maul set. Next is Boop the Halls. Now this is the third lineup in the original game Boop. And then they had Boop, which is their Halloween edition. And now we have Boop the Halls, which we just got stuck onto the list this past December. And it is where we are trying, the original game, you're trying to bounce cats off a bed. And this one, we are trying to bounce cats and kittens off a Christmas tree, who are also, this is fun thing with ornaments where you can knock knock other cats' ornaments off as you try and get that lineup. Now this adds a nice three-dimensional element to it, as it is the hardest out of all of them, I believe, as you're trying to get those kittens in a row and bounce them in this three-dimensional Christmas tree aspect. It's just really, really cute, and there aren't a lot of Christmas games, so I was very happy to see that this one was done so well.
Next up on this list is Captain Flip. Now, if you just need a 15-minute filler where you're gonna like place a bunch of tiles from like a bag drafting game, this is like a great one to have. So this is a game where you pull a tile out, and then the flip aspect is that you get to look at the front, decide whether you like it or not, and if you don't, you flip it over and you're locked in. So you gotta do the backside if you choose to flip it. Once you do that, it's a new pirate recruit that you're gonna put onto your ship, and you're gonna score points based on rows, columns, adjacency. Some of them will have immediate actions, some of them will have actions that are scoring at the end of the game. So it's a fun little, just like, I draft, 10, 12, whatever tiles, and then the game's over. So this is a great like 15-minute filler to have. It was one of the nominees for Spiel des Jahres this past year, and it has really cute art. It gives off this sort of like One Piece-ish sort of vibe, and yeah, really fun. Next up on our list, we have another surprise. I just love when I'm so proven wrong when I play a game, and Blank Slate Challenge was one of those. Now, we love the game Blank Slate. You get a word, blank, or blank, and then a word, and then everybody has to fill in with, I think that's a great game. But then they make Blank Slate Challenge, and I'm like, okay, why do we need this challenge version? Well, turns out this is the perfect couples like double date night game. So if you and another couple are playing games one night, this is like the thing to bring to the table. So basically it's like Blank Slate, but you have a double board with a top word and a bottom word. Your top one's worth 3 points, your bottom word's worth 1 point, and you work with your partner. So we would both try to get what each other say. Now if we match, we get points based on if it was the top or the bottom that matched. So if we both match our top one, we get 6 points. If my top matches your bottom, we get 4 points. And it's just a great way to like, play with your partner and see how in sync you are.
Next is Mandalorian Adventures. Now this is done in the Jaws of the Lion aspect, where you're going to be playing basically through that first season of Mandalorian, and you're going to be making your way through different missions, and the map that you're going to be playing on is in that rule book. So it's this very simple setup. You're going to open that book, it's going to guide you through it. It's very thematic. It very much feels like each episode, and you get to play the different characters and explore your way through it. Now they also just announced that there is going to be a second one coming out this year, so I'm excited to check that one out. But if you're a fan of Mandalorian, then I think you guys are gonna love this. We did put it in our top couples game for this year. And we also did a live playthrough, so if you wanna see exactly how it works. But we both really like this, and I'm looking forward to finishing up all the missions.
Next up on our list is Arcs. Now, if you haven't heard of Arcs, this is a wild new game by Leader Games that was designed by the same designer as Root. You basically are playing these cards, and there's going to be a leader who plays a card that will set a suit, and that means what types of actions everybody can take that turn. You can then follow in suit to also take more of those actions. You can choose to just copy theirs and get a weaker version, or you can pivot and take your own action, but it's going to be a lot weaker. And what ends up happening is this sort of like trick-taking-esque sort of resolution where that will determine who gets to play first next time and who gets to set the scoring mechanisms. Now, there are only going to be 3 different possible ways that you score each round, and the people are basically going to be like voting for which of those ways are going to be scoring. That's like the simplest way I can describe it, but it is a spacefaring sort of galactic area control type resource gathering game where you got limited resources. it's a whole lot of fun. There's nothing like it, so definitely check it out.
Yeah, I would say out of everything on this list, this is either the or the top, one of the top two of complexity as far as learning curve goes.
And the other one I would say would be SETI. So SETI, or Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. Now, you didn't get a chance to play this, so unfortunately there's all going to be me who says this. But so this is basically a game where you are starting out with some card construction and you're expanding out from the solar system where you are looking for extraterrestrial life. Now, you're going to be setting satellites that you're going to like send to other planets. You might land them, you might orbit. You might go search further for extraterrestrials, and literally aliens will come to the board and will start doing crazy things. And there's different aliens that you can shuffle in and use each game. So you just like alien invasions is like not a thing I typically think of in like Euro type games. So just kind of like a wacky, really fun thing that's going on. You have the solar system that's spinning around at various layers. So the middle spins faster than the outside, which I just think is so cool. And yeah, it's just like a lot of really unique, interesting things going on. It's kind of like if Lost Ruins of Arnak and Terraforming Mars had a baby. I feel like it would be something like this. Just because of like the tech track, I can't think of any other better way to describe it. But man, it is a ton of fun. I've only played it once, but I'm like itching to play it again. All right, and last but certainly not least, an expansion that looks small but is quite mighty in terms of how much effort went into the thing. It is the Tapestry Revised Civs expansion.
I get the shirt now.
Yeah, it's also the only board game shirt I brought with me. But Tapestry basically is this civilization building game that has been around for a couple of years. It is just like gotten wildly larger as they've added in werewolves and zombies and all this other crazy stuff. And I just love that about it. I love how eclectic it is. Now, the one thing that has happened over time is that you get like a stack of civilizations this big, they're not quite so balanced anymore. So that was always a sort of criticism with the game, but basically he got like thousands of votes together and really worked to rebalance the civilizations, change some of their rules, put complexities on them, and released a rebalanced Civ pack. And this is like honestly so cool that they did this. I also love that we have complexities on them because I played it again just a couple weeks ago, and I gave new players things that were 1 complexity and I gave myself something that was 3 complexity. It was just like so much easier to kind of set up and get into the game with that. And it was great to know that everything was more balanced. Now, balance is not something that if you are like, you know, really competitive to the point where you should be given an equal chance to win with the same strategy every time, probably not a game for you. But if you're all for the wacky fun that is Tapestry, this elevated it for us a lot.
And that is our top games that were published in the year of our Lord 2024. And so I had a lot of fun playing these. When we were putting together this list, we were both like, what came out this year? Like, were there any standouts? I don't know. And we started looking at it. We're like, oh my gosh, all of these came out this year.
Really solid year. Yeah,
I can't believe like how like things back in February. I'm like, Wyrmspan came out that year. So a very exciting year for board games. I think every year I'm just really excited that we have more games to show you, more things to talk about, and it's just exciting to see the industry grow and so many awesome games being put out there. And so thank you guys so much for watching. I am super excited for this channel and for TerreDice Games for 2025. If you're watching to this part of the video, we will be releasing an expansion to our game Bark Avenue Kings and Queens. It is coming to Kickstarter in February. You can click the link down below if you want to be notified, but we'll be talking a lot more about that over the next couple weeks. And I'm really excited to also just be on the channel a lot more and see what we can do. But as always, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know whenever we put out a new video. And we'll see you next time. Happy playing!